Click that link above and donate 5, 10, 20, $50 right now to the campaign to elect candidate John. We are taking questions at $1 a question. Every dollar gets us one petition signature. And Isa is our super hostess of the hour. Thank you, Isabella.
I know I am. Does Chris ever come on stage?
Yeah, but see, he's working, and this is me working as well. You, unfortunately, are actually not working, Isa. You're the only sucker in the room, but that's
Yeah,
why
but
you're our hostess.
yeah, I'm gonna go to bed soon. It's already 8. I already had dinner, and I'm gonna go to bed early today.
Well, you keep saying things that I'm gonna do. Don't just tell us what you're gonna do. Show us what you're gonna do. You're like Danny in that other room. I think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, this has been the Candidate John fundraiser. You can see how Issa can't even actually stick to the room titles. She's just a brain goo, harvested chillism type of brain rot sufferer, like the Bitcoin room people. All those people in that room also have the chillism mind virus of like giving up their independence to this neurally network group of low IQ retards who actually talk about nothing and waste all their time. That's life, ladies and gentlemen. Without a purpose, you're kind of just like a gelatinous goo. But not John Kitover. We're fundraising so we can get more petition signatures, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have a pipeline. We have a pipeline. All right, thanks for coming here. Well, the room is not over. We're going to do a quick little meditation. Well,
the show has to come to an end. Yes. It's because it's so amazing. But it goes on again every weekend, almost, Steve. We're here. It's a thrill to be here for our public. And I'm looking forward that the show has to come to an end. Yes. I am not like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I have something inside which is burning. And I look around and this is life and everything I see is not for me. I'm supposed to be something different. I have to be something different. I am not like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I have something inside which is burning. And I look around and this is life and everything I see is not for me. I'm supposed to be something different. I have to be something different. I am not like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I have something inside which is burning.
that's the YouTube algorithm.
Well, his father, anyway, he's the one that turned him in, so clearly he believes in personal responsibility. And that's, I think, where we need to start is where is the personal responsibility rather than the finger pointing. And well, his father, anyway, just
The truth is, you become unstoppable when you work on the things people can't take away from you. Things like your mindset, your character, and your personality. When you make those your priority, they become the most valuable things about you. The truth is, you become unstoppable when you work on the
Cause this looks like a job for me. Cause the boss said we need to do something. But when he says we don't mean we.
control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us
Using my number one point of contact
control
in
how we act,
Rockville,
control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us to control how we act, control, even though we have nothing to do with this. The only thing we've gotten from this man is, let's be clear. But y'all want us.
I will be the congressional leader of the Congress when nomination day. Very else, please note. There's probably probably a 10% chance of winning the most. I do congressional leader and can practice when my vacation back to the people who are paying on some fortune for job opportunity for both of us are doing great work. Also going to work for a free run in November 2026. We're going to apply for the so there's probably a 10% chance that we can accept even if we fall for the selection. So we still don't know what's like. Fuck the Democrat clown scam. Students of the LGBT deeply identified with literate Americans who voted out for the bills of the
lot of phones set up. I've got a lot of YouTubes going, Instagrams, X accounts, Clubhouse. I try to do a lot of mass communication for the campaign at home.
I saw that. That's how you got on my radar, was all the social media. You're probably way better connected on that aspect than your opponent. So good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live in Chicago, 42 years old. I'm a graduate at Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a military college. I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army National Guard, served from 2002 to 2006. And then I've worked in digital marketing, media buying,
It shows.
advertising technology for about the past 20 years, 15 years, and I've worked in the government at the Treasury Department and the Department of Commerce, working in real estate operations, leasing, project management. And I launched this campaign to run for Congress a couple months ago. We've raised about $600, mostly through social audio, through an app called Clubhouse, which is similar to X Spaces. It's basically a Zoom conference call, essentially. It's all audio. And I'm trying to defeat Darren LaHood, who I view as being a negative Republican who's created $20 trillion in debt in 10 years. So I'm fighting. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm saying I'm fighting for the people of the district in 16th district in Illinois, for the whole state of Illinois, and for MAGA and the Republicans all around the United States who believe that our government is borrowing and spending way too much money. We have to cut the spending.
That's a pretty big order because Lee Lipscott is going to have the Illinois GOP behind him. He'll have some federal law stuff behind him. He's going to have money to spend. Right now, you're at about $600. What's your strategy to counteract that?
It's by having conversations with you in open, frank, transparent manners. It's grassroots, and unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't favor me. It literally create as much content as you can, connect with as many people as you can, and really getting on the ground in Rockford and Peoria. The number one goal of this campaign right now is to get 1,000 signatures on our petitions.
Sure.
So I'm pretty confident over the next 3 weeks on Fridays and Saturdays in Rockford and in Peoria, we'll be able to get the number of signatures to get on the ballot in March.
Don't forget to hit the metro stations in your district. Those are great places to harvest up voters from. Let's go back to LaHood real quick. You call him a rhino, which has become almost cliche at this point. Everyone's a rhino that's running against someone else. When we look at him, though, his voting record isn't. You guys see eye to eye on some stuff. What is it you're not seeing eye to eye on with him that caused you to run here?
Really, it was his COVID-19 response. If you do a cross comparison between open secrets and all the HR acts that he has voted on, it's not a 10% or an 80% correlation. It is a 100% correlation between all open secrets donors and all HR acts. So there's a 100% correlation between HR acts and lobbyists who are essentially paying him to vote for all these funding measures. And it started with the HEROES Act and the CARES Act. The amazing thing about Grok on X is you can use it to go through all the HR acts and identify by the largest acts and whether LaHood voted on it, and then who the Fortune 500 corporations are that receive the most amount of money through those acts. And there's a 100% correlation in open secrets with all his donors. He has over $12 million or over $10 million in his campaign account. And so in my opinion, he's running a skimming operation. And this is what a lot of Congress people are doing. They have 10 to 20 to 30 million in their checking account, all given by lobbyists. So that is primarily the reason why I want to wake people up in the 16th district, say, hey, he has created $20 trillion in debt, plus $5 trillion a year over 10 years. He's responsible for spending $70 trillion. What have the people in Illinois District 16 really gotten from LaHood for all those trillions of dollars? He likes to say it's all about jobs at Caterpillar, etc. So, in my opinion, he's wasting the money. We have to stop borrowing and spending, and that's why I'm running against Darren LaHood in the 16th district.
And in reference to your campaign too, some of those jobs you talked about didn't really appear. You look at what happened with Stellantis, they only got one up with a fraction of those jobs coming back. So it might be good to have someone holding his feet to the fire.
It goes to show you that it is very difficult to create a successful business. I've launched many different businesses, and you can borrow from the taxpayers and create these businesses that go out of business, like Fisker and the electric buses that Pritzker gave us.
Yeah.
So it's super hard to create a business, and when a government creates a business by borrowing and taxing, that's not the bedrock or the cornerstone for building a good business. They're set up to fail. And it puts all the debt on future taxpayers. So it's
that's not
an unfair bargain.
No. What did you do in the Army? You're in the Army National Guard, eh? What did you do there? I know you're an officer, so it's a little different. I'm not looking for.
Sure. So I can tell you, I went to the Citadel, which is a prestigious military school in Charleston, South Carolina. And while I was there, 9/11 happened. So I joined the Army National Guard as in what they call the simultaneous membership program. So I started out as a PFC, then a specialist, then a sergeant in the infantry. And so I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, practiced warfighting for 4 months in the forests of Georgia, graduated college, got commissioned in intelligence, and I worked in translations, interrogations.
Yeah.
The Army is Army work. That's digging trenches, fighting, and being in cities. I didn't deploy to Afghanistan or Iraq. I was all around the United States. And then I started working in digital communications. I think from a forensic accounting standpoint, let alone just AI and the queries that I have put into Grok. If you go to my X account, it's John Kitover, Illinois, that's IL. And I will retweet some of my best Grok queries trying to untangle congressional borrowing and spending, borrowing from the Federal Reserve, really looking at our ledger books, our balance statements, and saying, you know what, guys like Darren LaHood are kicking the can down the road over and over. 10 years now. So this is my background, but I'm really trying to stop the borrowing and the spending. I think it has become a mantra with Republicans. I'm standing with Thomas Massie, Rand Paul, Ron Paul. I supported the Ron Paul campaign from California. I have a good picture with him. And I just believe that we are digging a hole. We have to stop digging this hole of debt and borrowing and spending from the Federal Reserve. We have to cut Medicare, Medicaid. We have to cut the NDAA. And I think we can preserve Social Security, but cutting the military-industrial complex and big pharma are the number 2 priorities of my campaign. So that means Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, AstraZeneca, the hundreds of billions of dollars in tax credits that they got from the big beautiful bill, $500 billion a year from taxpayers in tax credits. That is the primary focus of my campaign.
You segued exactly where I wanted to go. I was just going to ask you about the big beautiful bill. That was a huge expansion of spending. So I think you pretty much told us where you stand on that. You weren't exactly pro big beautiful bill then.
We can kill the 2 biggest problems in our society, which is the military-industrial complex and big pharma. We have to cut the Medicare and Medicaid by probably $1 billion to $2 billion a year, and the National Defense Authorization Act by about $200 to $400 billion a year. We'll be able to start paying down the debt. We can lower taxes, and we can stop funding big pharma, which is poisoning us, and the military-industrial complex, which is taxing us and doing military policing around the world. And Darren LaHood has kicked the can and funded this for 10 years. He's been a congressman in the 16th district, and I think the connecting district before redistricting. But he is a can kicker. I'm going to crush his can, and I'm going to recycle it for the American people and for the people in the state of Illinois.
Let's talk about vaccinations. I'm not real clear on where you are on vaccinations, as far as if it's just a COVID vaccine or what's your stand on other vaccines?
Let me just start with COVID-19 and that vaccine response. The HEROES Act in March of 2020 was the first $1 trillion tranche or omnibus bill that Darren LaHood voted for. And that is the start of it. That's when Pfizer was able to print up 30 billion cocktails. A lot of these vaccines were manufactured in India because it was a patent and it was mass produced around the world.
Yeah.
That's not variable medicine. That's giving one solution to everybody for a problem that Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates and the World Health Organization cooked up in Wuhan, China. So to just immediately go to the 72 vaccine schedule that young people have to take, we're living in a vaccine industrial complex. It's not a vaccine diet. This is not acute targeted medicine. This isn't variable. This morning on X, we read through MAHA and the February 18-page PDF that was put out by Secretary Kennedy and the NIH. And I think right now, Big Pharma and Kennedy are still colliding. and the gold standard in scientific research has yet to really been proven. I think we're still very much living in a big pharma, big medical industrial complex, which demands the money. And so again, cutting Medicare and Medicaid will choke big pharma, and I think it'll improve our health outcomes. I'm not a fan of all these vaccinations. It's out of control. But why does a 3-year-old need 72 injections? Can you explain that, George? It's insane what we're living with.
I'm a nurse, so I can't explain it. These are all diseases we're trying to keep that 3-year-old from having. My grandkids are getting vaccinated now. My children got vaccinated. We get no health problems from those vaccines. I can see why people were upset about on the COVID vaccine because it was, again, I said I was a nurse. One thing we were taught is always the patient's choice whether they take a medicine or they don't. They got COVID jammed down their throat, so I get the anger there. But I never really quite, and I go back as a conservative a long way. I'm almost 60 now. I never ran for Congress. I was a city councilor though in Georgia. So I've been involved in Republican politics for a long time. I don't think anyone would say anything other than a conservative. But the things like eliminating smallpox have gone a long way. We couldn't do that without those vaccines. The chicken pox, people live through that. My grandkids are getting, I believe my kids are getting the chicken pox one. I don't think it's hurting anyone. It's keeping them from scarring and later and protecting from shingles a little bit later. But
I would just say that I've seen documentation from the George Bush administration that suggests that Operation Warp Speed was long in the making. I think this is the pandemic, scamdemic, plandemic. I don't trust it. The lockdowns, the baby diaper masks. People are very angry still. And when you bring up COVID-19 vaccines and the lockdown, Darren LaHood told his constituents via X, if you don't take this injection, this pandemic will never end. You have to get vaccinated. Otherwise, you'll never be able to go back to work. That's the type of messaging he put out on his X account. You can search it. Just go to Darren LaHood's X account, type in vaccine, and see what he told everybody. He was doing propaganda messaging, pushing out big pharma talking points. That's not leadership. That's doing what your lobbyists, multi-million-dollar contributors tell you to do. And he's telling everybody on his X account, his Facebook account with 27,000 followers, in my opinion, he's pushing propaganda, and he voted for it. And he took out he took out trillions of loans on your behalf to fund this. We're $37 trillion in debt, and we have $100 trillion in unfunded debt liabilities. That's a total of $137 trillion. So everybody in this country owes over $100,000 right now to the federal government on the balance sheet, and Darren LaHood doesn't talk about it. All he talks about is how the big beautiful bill is so beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's taxation by loading it on the back end. So in my opinion, he is not leading the people in his district, and he's a failure as a congressional representative in the 16th district. And in Illinois, he's just a can kicker. And I just want to reiterate, everyone has to chant the mantra, stop borrowing, stop spending.
And that is good to hear Kayla say, because we go back into what some people call a bipartisan combine. Everyone's just taxing and spending. There really has not been a responsible financial party for a very long time. And it is good to hear people coming up through the ranks and running for office to say, yeah, we got to stop this, because it's not sustainable. You're absolutely right on that. I'm curious too. You went right for a congressional seat. Generally, people coming up through the ranks will say, "Oh, you're going to start a city council. You'll start at the county board. You'll start at the township level." You went right for Congress. Mostly, it seems to be because of the job Darren LaHood's doing. Did you have any thought about starting lower and working up, or was this just your passion about ending LaHood's reign in Congress?
Let me just say, this is not the second time I've run for politics. I ran for committee person here in the 45th Ward in Chicago, and that is what created this rocket that is trying to defeat Darren LaHood, because that experience of dealing with all kinds of low-down, dirty, grimy local politicians and the lawyers, and let me just describe to you what happened. So I ran for committee person. I spent about 45 days at the Jefferson Park Blue Line stop. I hired people off of Craigslist. We gathered about 800 signatures. Every single signature was challenged by the Chicago Jam. We were about 60 signatures short. But I filed an appeal. I had to go downtown, go through the election courts, had about 2 trials. The challenger, Estella Richards, the 45th Ward committee woman, never showed up. She couldn't provide any testimony, wouldn't provide any testimony in terms of questioning. So in my opinion, my constitutional rights were denied me, and this deals with ballot access.
Right.
I have no doubt that this time going around, we will get the total number of signatures to actually be on the ballot. It's less than 700.
Right.
And let me tell you, when you file for Congress, it only takes you 15 minutes to file. So my question is, where are the patriots and the Republicans in Peoria and Rockford that want to stand up to all this borrowing and spending? Where are the libertarians even that are not stepping up to the plate? A lot of people aren't getting anything for their vote, but they're still going to vote for Darren LaHood.
Yeah.
This is why I decided to run for Congress, because the issue is that important, that this is not just whether or not I win or get on the ballot. This is about creating communication to as many people as possible to recite the mantra: stop borrowing, stop spending. Every single year we're borrowing $2 trillion and only taking in $5 trillion. So this is why I'm running and why we have to defeat Darren LaHood in Illinois 16.
Well, that's the old Illinois GOP mantra. It's not your turn yet, right? This is why no one's running, because they go up through their county GOP and they're told it's not your turn. Or in your case, I'm sure you've been told, start smaller, start at the township level, start this. Of course, the Chicago GOP is so completely dysfunctional. Maybe they didn't tell you that, but this is the same thing I hear over and over again as I talk to candidates. They're being told it's not your turn.
Listen, it's everybody's turn. There should be 100 people lining up when there's no filing fee and it takes you 15 minutes. And now there's another Republican candidate running, and I think there's 4 Democrats running against Darren LaHood. So people are waking up and standing up. Darren LaHood really flies under the radar, but he has a very powerful position in Congress. So in my opinion, the more people standing up to Darren LaHood, either we force him to start obeying our Constitution and give us a fair and balanced budget, or he's just going to keep plunging us into debt and creating future tax liabilities for your children. The guy is, in my opinion, dishonest, and I think we have to crush his can that he keeps kicking.
Let's switch up for a little bit. Let's talk about the district you're running for. Your district you're in Chicago, it's in Peoria, it's in Rockford. Let's talk gerrymandering. Where's our solution here? Right now, the Republicans, we're roughly half the state's electorate. We only have 3 congressional seats, one the ones you're running for. Was your hope here? What's the answer here? As long as you're that outnumbered, how do we fix this?
Let me tell you, before working at the Treasury Department doing facilities management, I worked at the Census Bureau downtown Chicago. So I was opening and closing census offices, and it's a lot of work to open a census office and gather that data. And that is the only agency in our Constitution. All these other agencies are not there. The census is the only one that should technically be funded. Most of these other agencies, I think we could eliminate a large percentage of them. These are the top towns in the 16th district, and these are the towns that are voting for Darren LaHood. It's Rockford, which has 148,000. Peoria has 113,000. Bloomington, 78,000. Normal, 52,000. Pekin, 31,000.
Hey, Mark. I'm playing this interview I did with that George Dean. Yeah, sorry about that other room. You know, Clubhouse is a collection of special individuals, and you never know if one of them, got out of the psych ward or sitting in a bird cage with a bunch of birds. But, you gotta. Oh, you want to hear more? Well, I kind of clicked off of it. I've done a lot of public speaking analysis, and I think you should do more analysis on what you're saying and how you say it. Your delivery matters. And what's funny is, even if you come off as being cheesy, what you're really doing is delivering a communication into that person's brain, into their central cortex. So if you enhance it by making it even more corny or sounding like Gilbert Godfrey, what you're still doing is you are burrowing your communication into that person's brain. So if what you're saying is accurate, truthful, and the best, solution, you can't win with these people, Mark. And so, it really does come down to projection, and you could call it propaganda or politicking, but what you are here is you're here to deliver a message, and you have to upload it. It's a transmission. So you have to look at it from that perspective that if you're going to analyze yourself, if you're going to analyze your public speaking, your projection really matters. You have to speak up loud. You really do have to be loud. You have to increase the sound frequency for people. It's not loud enough on this app for people. It's just some analysis, but yeah, yeah, just some thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think your chances are of winning?
I talked to the White House for 2 hours yesterday, and so they've done more work than me. And I don't mean to disagree with you with the messaging thing. And messaging is super important, but for me, it's just about the math, and for the White House, it's the math, and they think the math is on my side. Harris won my district by 2 points, right? So she got 52%. So it's a very close district. And now, my opponent's been 8 million, making my race the most expensive by a lot, like by double or triple or even quadruple other races in the state. And I had no name ID last time. Now all of a sudden I have name ID. My opponent's money's gone. My opponent's name is gone. And, all that is working for me. It's good. Without any message, without anything. So now, lop onto that. I actually have more money in my account than any of the 20 or 30 candidates that are running for Congress. I have the most amount of money, not that it's a lot of money, but I have the first place in terms of that. And now I got to spend my money wisely and raise more and figure out how to ballot harvest to lift 2% or 3% to win. But the problem is, I can do that. You can only outperform the top by a certain amount, no matter who you are. You can be Jesus Christ, and you can't outperform, the president or in the midterms, the governor. You can't outperform that by, 10 points. It's hadn't been done in history. So, I gotta hope that the governor, whoever it is, whoever wins, does a good job. And right now, they all kind of suck.
Well, I think your Chicago Flip Red content was like the best content I've ever seen you post. That, yeah, but you got to frame it even more.
Don't forget my district has 0 lives.
That's okay. You're getting out a free market economic message with these people because that's the real solution. So it comes down to education. I mean, you have to become the educator as opposed to just, it's about the framing and the footage and the posting. But either way, I mean, I think like you just said, you're in looks like a fantastic position. But do you think that the communication, the outcome, like you said, very rarely will you ever see a 10% margin. It's like a couple hundred votes. So do you think it aligns with the communication?
Honestly, if I was a hot chick with a Harvard MBA and a great, I was a celebrity, I think I could gain a point or maybe two or something. The bigger thing for me is to get out the vote and the ballot harvesting, which is what I hear from really smart people who've been doing, or like from Trump, for example. That's what you're going to see, or I'm sure you've already seen when you talk to voters, they don't, or even they're unlike, same thing is how do you get those uninformed, what they call like low propensity voters, how do you get them off their butts to vote? And unfortunately that does require a lot of time and money, whether it's email, text, door knocking, phone calling, mail, all that stuff. And if you can do enough of it, and you target the right people, then you can make the difference. But like I said, you can't make 10 points different. It's just not realistic. Most people go into the booth and they vote for that top of the ticket, and then they quit. Or they vote for what's underneath, but they just vote straight ticket. And they don't know the people. They don't know any of the people. I do the same. You like that? All those things, state reps. That's great. There's nobody that knows. Very few people know. Like 5%. you get a speech, you're giving it to those 5%, and you get a big share of the 5% of the people that are informed. That's good. But the bigger thing is how do you get the 95% of people to vote for you? And so I'm pretty focused on that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just getting on that ballot, like, cause I've, going through the signature challenging before with committee person, I know that even if I can win and get on that March ballot, like, that's the big success for me, because if I can do that by November 1st, I mean, that gives me November, December, January, February, March, that's 6 months of online politicking. So the communication, or the 180 days, the next 180 days of your communication calendar, the more you can detail it out and publish it, and use Grok, Mark. Ask Grok a question on your profile and say, "Hey, Grok."
I do it all the time.
Oh, you're doing it?
Yeah. And I've got a social media guy, Wait, but listen, how are you, like, I'm doing a deal on Saturday, let's see, it's not your district, but I'm doing it, it's in Elgin, and if it works out right, I'll get 500 really good signatures in about 3 or 4 hours. It's the CRO has a way of doing it, which is really actually pretty genius. Like I have to provide 4 volunteers plus me, so there's 5 left, right? But so there's like 10 other people, so there'll be 50 volunteers or 50 solicitors, and they'll give each one of us just 1 sheet, with 10 slots, right? So we each have to go get 10 people, and they give us all the data in just 1 street or 2 streets, so that they're next to each other, and it's only the hard R's that vote in primaries. So these are friendly people, and you go out and you get your 10 signatures, but you get 10 signatures for 10 different candidates. So you've got like 10 clipboards, or 1 clipboard with 10 sheets of paper on it, and you just have them sign it. By the way, they don't fill out their address or any of that bullshit. They just their signature, and then you take those 10 signatures back times 10 candidates, and you fill in the address and all that. And now what you've done is you've collected 10 for each candidate, but there's about 50 people, so it's 500. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of like a hack, to getting signatures.
Yeah, I have some people that signed for me that just signed, and at the time I wasn't even looking to see, if they properly filled it out. I've these petition signatures, people got no idea, just how, challenging it is, because that there's a strategy, and really, the more people you have, more agents who can go out there and organize. Like, I have this person in Rockford, she's gotten over 300 signatures in 1 week.
Oh, that's a dream. That's a good one.
I know the thing is, you do a lot of these geographic.
She's a volunteer.
I'm paying her. The campaign's paying her.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Just gonna make sure you're not breaking up or that sort of thing,
100%. You don't know, and so that's the thing, is it's a big long shot, and when the challenges come through, and we're gonna find out what the proof in the pudding is. If I get defrauded with petition circulators and I don't get on that ballot, I still won't be defeated, because I've hopefully been trying to draw attention on the platforms about the fiscal crisis, about the economic crisis. So anyways, I'm happy that Chairman Powell lowered the rates, but do you think they should lower them even more? I mean, why don't we go back to 2.1%? You think that'll just ignite inflation?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you worked in finance, you were an asset manager. I mean, what's wrong with a lower interest rate?
I think the pressure's on. He's going to keep lowering it until the economy picks up, or Trump's going to do whatever he can to get rid of them. So it's going to come down, but he's going to fight it all the way down. I mean, quarter point, what's that? It's nothing.
Yeah. Well, anyways, when are you going to Elgin?
That's Saturday, but if you could somehow organize something like that, it costs nothing, zero.
Mm.
you could get all the signatures you need, and they're good because you have the data. Like you know their address, you know they're registered to vote. You know they're Republican. They're not going to spit on you. It's really the way to do it.
Yeah, it's tough. I really tried to convert these two liberal hardcore Democrats with piercings and tattoos to sign my petition.
No, don't bother with that. Just get those people.
They asked me, why wouldn't you vote for Kamala Harris? And Tim Walz, I was like,
Yeah.
to me, the two of them as our leaders, there was definitely things off about them that would make them, in my opinion, ineffective and dishonest and potentially horrific leaders. They would not sign my petition, and we were so cordial and had such a long conversation, could not get them, no matter how hard I tried.
Yeah, but if I don't know why you're doing that. Like, I'll get 10 signatures in the time that I would waste talking to a Democrat. Or even if the Democrat signs, it's like, it's a matter of return on investment. You're investing your time, and you got to figure ways to get the most signatures in the least amount of time. And having to talk to people it's not good. Even, like they want to ask you lots of questions. So here's my phone number. Call me, but right now I have to go get a bunch of signatures. Would you like to sign? No? You got to think back? No problem. Call me later. Happy to talk to you about it and move on.
Yeah, I signed. I signed a Democrat's petition, who's my senator here in this district, and I only signed because she personally knocked on my front door. I said, how can I not sign? You're doing the effort, you're walking the streets. I was like, and it's dangerous knocking on people's doors. I'm like, God bless you, give it to me. I'll sign it for you. But then she wanted me to sign more petitions for her friends. I was like, no, 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 no. You did the work, you get the vote. You get the signature. I'm not voting for her, but
Qualify your signature, right? You know about that, right?
what do you mean?
You can't. I mean, hopefully you won't get caught. It won't matter, but you can't. We can get signatures, but not from anybody that signed a Democrat petition. They sign a Democrat petition, and you get challenged, they'll disqualify that signature. It's probably worth like mentioning to people because if it gets disqualified, it does. Like it's like too much information, But I'm just telling you, if you didn't know, you can sign one party or the other. You can't do both.
Yeah, well, I have no doubt that if we even meet the threshold and we do get the number of signatures we need, which
Wait, what do you mean, John? What do you mean? How many do you need?
700.
Okay, that's about what I need. And have you tried a train station in the morning yet?
No, not yet, personally, no.
Are any? Do you have any train stations that would be like lots of people commuting?
Yeah,
You know,
I've been doing research on the maps and trying to find the best places. It's just a question of, well, I can probably
I mean, I want you to know I get 50 to 100, 50 to 80, I'd say, from 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning at a train station. Those are like little honeypots.
Mhm. This is this is my priority. People who are getting me signatures, I got them from Craigslist, and so I do need to repost in the top cities, and that I think can get me a couple hundred more. And then personally, I think I can physically get 300 myself. I think I'm gonna be right on that threshold. It would be nice to have another 400 to get to that 1,000 mark.
Yeah, try not to turn in 7. If you turn in less than like 1,000, he's gonna challenge you for sure.
He's gonna challenge regardless. Every signature will get. I sat through this bullshit. They will have somebody there challenge every single fucking signature just to make you sit there for 6 hours.
It's not worth doing.
I'm just saying, I know what my priorities and my to-do list is today. I've already analyzed my thoughts. I know how I think I can do it, but your help could push me over that that threshold and make getting the March 17th ballot an actual reality.
Where's the closest to Chicago part of your district?
Rockford is what can win this for me. There's 150,000 people there. It's the North versus the South. Rockford versus Peoria, and the North is pissed. There's a lot of crime in Rockford. My campaign circulator, who's getting the most things, she won't even go to parts of the town. It's too dangerous.
Who's my Rockford guy? Have you ever talked to any of these Rockford
Yeah, Max ran one of them off the conference call. He pissed him off so bad.
Oh no, who was it?
He was a guy who reached out to me that wanted to help me, and Max chased him off.
Why Max chase him off? What was that about?
It was just Max being Max, and they pissed the guy off, and he went bananas. But Max wouldn't relent. Max wasn't wrong. The guy's a whack job, but he still wanted to help me.
Yeah, that's sad. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's meant to be. Listen, I have people who have wanted to, help the campaign, and then maybe they look at my profile stuff and they're like, I can't do this, and they end up not reciprocating or recommunicating. So I have been using Clubhouse to onboard people, and in my opinion, it's working. It's a team building experience.
Cool.
And a lot of people who can't download this app and have a conversation here, it filters them out. I don't want them gathering petitions for me because they're incapable of even having a conversation on a phone. So
Yeah, but what about like I went to the scam on Lincoln Day dinner, for instance, and there was like I don't know, 100 people there, something like that. They're all PC and they're the kind of people that do get petitions, and they are Republicans and have been working and stuff like that. Might be for you.
listen, I can take Mark, my experience is take it straight to the people. I don't need to go through Republican channels to get these signatures, and I know what they're gonna do and waste my time and blah blah blah. They're not gonna help me or give me a time, not gonna give me their time, not gonna give me their money, not gonna give me their click. You know what it's like, Mark. You take it straight to the people and you get the signatures. That's it.
Let me tell you what it's like, okay? The Bloomingdale GOP, I'm actually going there this afternoon. They're giving me 350 really good signatures, all notarized, all ready to go. And so far, Schaumburg GOP has like 230.
Wow.
Actually, just texted me yesterday. But he'll have more. That's what he had so far. And that's from their group. Like, one by one, they go out and they knock on doors, and then they have some in their office that people come in and send. So that's 500 for me. And those are good signatures too. Like those are high quality because those are people going in the district to doors of people that they know. So I they all stop. Believe me, I'm like Matt. These guys suck balls, but this is one thing they can help you on if you solicit them to do it. Is getting signatures.
I could try, but I very much doubt they're gonna want to help me. They're gonna go with Darren LaHood. So,
I don't know. Are people sticking them? I think a lot of people are sticking them.
well, that makes my job even easier. I've gotten signatures in Bloomington and Normal. As soon as I say I'm here to kick Darren LaHood out of Congress, they say, "Give me that petition. Give it to me."
Exactly. That's good. Maybe you have a slogan like fire like it.
Max was right in that WGL.
What's that?
Max pointed out to me that in that NPR interview I did, she was like, "Oh, they really hate LaHood." So I am getting, publicity from what I would call Democrats because everybody really dislikes LaHood. They want him gone. Bye bye.
Yeah, that's great. Floyd, is that his name? Wait, I'm gonna get a name for you. You want? He's a guy that can help you. He does art. People that are not sure. Really did. Again, the pies to what's up. That's really smart guy. He lives just west of. He lives west of Rockford, but that's good for you, right? That's by your district, right? If he's west, that's your Rockford.
Yeah, it goes west. So wait, you have O'Hare?
No, could be the 17th. Could be the 17th.
So wait, you have O'Hare in your district, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So does that include Edison Park?
No, just over by you, it only includes a little bit of.
It gets you the pavilions.
Yeah, the pavilions, but nobody speaks English in there.
Well, that's okay, just put out some Indian candy and they'll sign your petition.
sure. You know, I mean, I've spent time there. It's just so few people speak English. But the polls and all them, if they know I'm Republican, they're all excited. And by the way, I won Harwood Heights. You know, last time. I mean, it's a good spot. But tonight I'm
Do you-
going to Kane County and DuPage County.
Canaan, yeah.
For different meetings.
Well,
Roselle and
do you think Roger Krishnamurti is going to make it to the Senate?
I hope not, but I think he's leading in the polls. Oh wait, Jason, that's his name, Jason. I want to get this guy for you. I'm telling you, you'll be impressed with this guy's intellect. He's very smart. Hoyt, that's it, Jason Hoyt.
Just copy and paste the clubhouse room link and text it to him, and we're going to find out just how smart he is, Mark.
No, he's not going to do that.
Then he's not so smart. He's going to waste our time. That's why I say, if you can't come on Clubhouse and have a conversation, then the truth is you're going to waste our time. Well, it doesn't matter. You copy and paste the link. It says right there, download the app and say, hey, I'm having a conference call. Join us. That's it. And it qualifies them. If they're not going to do that, they're just fucking scraping bubble gum off your shoe.
I'm giving you his name, I'm telling you. He's the kind of guy that can give you all the signatures you need if I'm on your side.
Mark, I'm paying $1.50 a signature. It's not going to be worth this guy's time. And we're getting the signatures at $1.50 supposedly.
It's not a money thing. This guy has money. He'll give you money if he likes you.
Oh, I see.
Jason Hoyt, he has a podcast. I've been on it before. I think he's written a book or two. He's all involved in your area.
Oh, well then I would love to talk to him, but you know.
And he thinks the GOP's a joke, or he knows the GOP.
You mean Aaron Del Mar's not a good leader?
He knows. This guy's like one of us. He knows. And so maybe he doesn't even know you or know that you're running. But by the way, maybe I can tell you, where does he live? Does that have his address? Jason White.
That's what I'm saying. Just text him the Clubhouse link if you got his telephone number.
No, I just sent it to you. Here it's called Liberty Restoration Fellowship. I'm telling you, you really like this guy. He's very smart.
Jason Hoyt.
Former Republican. But wait, I was going to tell you that.
Let's just call him. Let's just call him.
Okay, call him right now. I'll tell you now. You can look it up.
Hey, Hoyt, sorry I missed your call. Leave me a voicemail or better yet, send me a text. God bless.
Hey Jason, this is candidate Congressman John Kitover. I'm here with Mark Rice, candidate Congressman, and he texted me your contact information, and we were hoping to chat with you. And I will text you, and I hope you're having a great day. My number is 312-498-0517. Take care, bye. Mark, you want to say anything?
No, bye, Jason. Hope to talk to you soon.
All right.
And I think he's from Winnebago, which is just west of Rockford, just like 10, 20 miles. So that's pretty close, right?
Yeah, the young lady who's helping me get signatures has gotten us over 300 signatures. She just texted me and said, what are you going to do for Winnebago County?
Oh, good. But he's from, I guess he's from Winnebago County, but he's from the town of Winnebago.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a suburb of Rockford, nicer suburb.
Well,
But it's west. I certainly know how your district works.
yeah, it's north to south and up northwest. It's a it's a big district. Well, Hood, you know, he's got 4 offices in the district. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm gonna look it up. Do you have this map that shows your district on Google so you can see if the people live in it?
Yeah, I've got the names of all the towns, the numbers I've got a lot of demographic data on the district.
So I've got a Google map and you just put in their address and then it shows you, oh no, see, you have a weird looking thing. Are you the green? Like, do you go to Harvard?
Yeah, I can.
Harvard, Illinois?
I can text you. Actually, if you go to johnforcongress.com, you can actually see every
Oh,
town.
I got it. No, I got it. I got it. You're right. You're the 16th,
Yeah, 16th district.
right?
16, yeah.
Okay, so you can go much closer, like just west of Hebron, Harvard, Lawrence. That's really not that far.
There's a lot of towns. It's crazy. There's, the thing is, Rockford is where it's going to be at, just based on the numbers. I can get the signatures out of Rockford.
Yeah.
It's the best place to go.
There. So here's the problem. Winnebago's in the 17th, but it's very close to yours. Like it's 5 miles.
Oh, I see.
You see that? I'm looking at the map. It's so weird the way that works. But here, let me send this to you also. If you've never seen this map, this has helped me out immensely. It shows it's Google, and so it's a great map, but also you can put in their address, and it'll show you right where they are and which district they're in. Nobody ever knows. And for me, I'd say 95% of people don't know they live in. But at least in my district, they have no idea, no clue. Kitover, here you are. Okay, yeah, you'll like this if you don't have this. This is good. So when you're there, 60, you can tell people which district they live in. You care.
No, I care. I'm correcting the young lady who's getting me questions right, who is getting me petitions right now because I didn't look close enough, at Winnebago, where it was, and people can ask you questions about counties. I'm looking at the district, and it's like, you know what? Don't ask me about this county, and if it's in the district or not. I mean, I can show you on my website, johnforcongress.com. So it's like, I had this really beautiful lawyer in my presence one time, and she said, I feel like the problem is people ask questions. And so, what I'm just trying to say is, Mark, I wish you luck. I hope you get all the signatures. I'm sure you will. And based on your standing and your presence, I think you're going to win it this time around. And super safe, yeah. I know. Because you can kiss half of them goodbye. It's like an 83%. Well, I mean, I'm saying based on the way I generate the signatures, not the way that you're generating the signatures.
I have, like on Saturday, we're taking the voter data list, and we're generating walk lists, and we're going to their houses. So we know the register to vote, we know exactly where they live, and they're there, they're there, and they sign, it's golden. Like 99% chance of that because they're gonna. But then they also have train station ones, which could be shit. Like you say, could be 50% bad. I probably have illegal aliens that have signed mine. Who knows? What a weird shaped district you have that. It's crazy. Look.
You know why your son may end up being a prophet, and I hope he's correct in his analysis, that at 10 years, or 5 going on 6 terms, there's a very good chance that the Republicans and the Democrats, and that, if I can get on that March 17th ballot, there's a good chance that I can overturn LaHood because your son is accurate in his analysis of LaHood's situation and standing in the communities.
It really could be. That the only people that bother to even vote are people that hate them, and they'll vote for you.
Exactly. In fact, that Democrat in Bloomington told me she changed sides just so she could get rid of somebody she doesn't like on the opposing party. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's very Machiavellian or chameleon, but I respect it. And people are strategic with their vote.
Yep. And you have a lot of people voting for first it's going to be very low turnout, like 10, 20%. So it doesn't take much, in the primary. And then the only people that are going to vote, the Democrats, what are they voting for? Pretty sure that's it. They don't need to vote. So the Republicans are going to have 3 viable, sort of viable governor candidates who have a drive-through turnout for you. And then as an aside, I go, who's my congressman? Oh, LaHood, fuck him, and they'll vote for you. I mean, that's the hope.
Mark, are you running? Eighth district. Where does that cover?
It's like O'Hare west, the suburbs.
Okay. That'd be out of my range a little bit.
Where are you?
I'm on the west side.
Where? What side of Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, I started like in northwest side, I guess, in like Harvard Heights over there. Rosemont, just me.
Okay, yeah, I'm closer to like West Town.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where I live and work. So,
You live in West Town?
not west. I live in Gold Coast, but my office is in Chicago and the river.
Okay, yeah, okay, I know that area. The Gold Coast is beautiful.
Yeah, nice. Right next door to Pritzker, and yesterday we had a suicide right next door to his house. And
Oh my God.
Didn't make the news or anything. A guy shot himself.
That's horrible.
Sketchy. I know. There's blood everywhere.
What did they let you in the crime scene, or was it in his home?
Yeah, well, now it's clean now, but they roped it off and everything yesterday. My daughter was there right up there.
You know, I was on Chicago Ave at Mariano's on, what day was this? Sunday. And I'm walking out of Mariano's and I'm going across the street to one of my buddy's stores. And I hear a loud bang. Some guy let off his gun. And right in front of Mariano's was two Chicago police, there's a Chicago police car. But the two officers were inside Mariano's. They didn't hear anything. The guy who shot the gun accidentally misfired it, freaked out, and threw it into his car. And no one even knew except the people who saw it. He just walked away. It was shocking.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm where the bridge is over the river on Chicago Island. That's where I work.
Oh yeah. That's a beautiful view of the city from there.
So Jack,
Politics though, you should have John out.
no, I don't want this Free Palestine radical anywhere near me. Jack, what do you think about the IDF taking out Gaza's radio and internet? That's a miracle, isn't it? Great work, IDF.
I was heavily involved in politics in California before I moved to Chicago, actually. I ran a couple of successful campaigns.
That's cool. What'd they do, John?
They took out their internet. They took out their cellular.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the final assault is taking
The
place.
problem is, John, is that like at least from the people I talked to in Gaza today, like most people use eSIMs. So like you can just kind of buy it and use your phone like that, and it only allows you to use data. But like with iPhones and like you know you can make calls over Wi-Fi, so it's like it's not too much of a problem. Obviously, it's not convenient, but not like the end of the world. I mean, especially when like the Wi-Fi is probably the least of your concerns at that point if you're looking for food and stuff.
Yeah, end of the world for those people, the terrorists. And you're just a terrorist promoter and a terrorist supporter, Jack.
No one's talking about like destroying people's cell circuits. I haven't supported any bombings or anything. I think you're the only one doing that.
John, I was saying my first cousin Elad, he lives in Gush Etzion, and he's in the IDF, and he's in Khan Yunis today in tunnels. He's part of the crew that's like cementing and welding shut the tunnels before they put the cement and water that's in there.
Yeah, resort area, isn't it?
I think it's Vegas, Miami Beach, or Israel.
Yeah, they had like the front, the entrance of the hotel. I don't believe so. I haven't. I can check actually, but I don't think that they did. But I'll check. Yeah, I'll post the link though.
I got certified to scuba dive. My patio license for any lot. It's really crazy.
Yeah, Mark, don't waste your time talking to Jack. He's a terrorist promoter, a terrorist supporter, and Jack, you know what? This war is going to come to an end, and Hamas is going to be completely wiped out, destroyed. And, you know, your political position of supporting terrorism is not going to be celebrated. I hate to break the bad news to you.
I didn't even support Hamas, bro. But okay. That's cool. But back to your campaign, John. Did you ever win the lawsuit and get your name on the ballot, or is that still a struggle?
Well, lawsuit.
Well, because he didn't get enough signatures to get his name on the ballot.
God do must not have.
Then what were you talking about, John? Because you had told me that.
No, I was talking about when I ran for committee person. Yeah, we've got about 45 more days to get to 6. We're still in the running here, Jack. I don't take your negative, low IQ frequency vibration that, you know, is past where your penis used to be and your now puffy little vagina is, and take your stupid terrorist supporting ass. Go ahead, ask candidate John any other questions you want, Jack. I'm going to shoot you down every time, though. I hope you know this is your roast, not mine.
Alright, I'm cool with that. You're the one who was like complaining about the fact that like one of the other candidates was trying to take you to court because you didn't get enough signatures, and I was telling you I knew a lot of people in your district that I can get signatures for you. But alright, I can be the terrorist too, I guess. What were you running against? Actually, I'll just Google it.
Hey, John, I have 10 opponents running against me on the Democrat side. And then on the Republican side, I have 2. And one of them, we need to do some opera research on and figure out how to get rid of her. In fact, I'll definitely challenge her petition.
Aaron LaHood is your opponent, John.
He knows.
So, he's a Republican, Peoria.
He's been there like 10 years.
Yeah, he seems like he's the OG.
His dad was the head of Republicans for Biden, or for Harris, I guess.
That's the most Chicago shit I've ever heard. Yeah, John, I guess if you don't want my support, man, I could give it to Darren LaHood. I can help him out.
You know, Jack, what's interesting, Mark, what's interesting is that politics is a lot like the real estate business. I just gotta say that if they're texting you on why they can't afford to pay the rent or why they can't do it, or prior to leasing and they want to tell you their life story and how this was their destiny, I gotta tell you, all the words in the world, all the spam you ever heard, ain't as good as a good signature on a petition. So Jack, take your terrorist promoting, supporting ass and go lick your fucking heels. Go clean your fucking shoes with your tongue, you terrorist supporting piece of shit.
Yeah, trigger.
Go clean your.
Listen, man, you didn't want my support. Now I'm fully with Darren LaHood for Congress.
Have you ever run a Republican? Republican in your life? Sounds like you're probably a Democrat.
No, of course I'm. No, actually, I voted both, but in local elections, I voted way more Republican than Democrat. And
Where you live, there's no Republicans even on the ballot. Well,
no, I just moved here. I just moved here a year.
Oh.
But I moved from Orange County, California, so that's a Republican.
Orange County, yeah.
Yeah, Newport Beach. Yeah, we have. I actually helped get 2 city council members on the city council. Went door to door with them. I worked with the mayor. I was working with his chief of staff. So I did that in college, and a year out of college, I did that. So I've experience running campaigns.
So what you're saying is you know how to promote terrorism, promote chaos, promote anarchy, promote political subversion. You're nothing but a little traitor, Jack. You're nothing but a terrorist promoter and a terrorist supporter. You're a propagandist and a low IQ one at that. I hope you know this ain't my roast, Jack. This is yours. You stepped into my barbecue party for you. Welcome to the show. The campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover to the 16th District, starring Mark and our terrorist-free Palestine piece of shit Chicagoan Jack, you little cocksucker.
I hopefully wouldn't vote for you because you're poor, to be honest. Like, you just got nothing to show for yourself after I don't know how many years you've been alive. But I hope good success for you at some point. Hopefully you win the IRS lawsuit and don't get your house foreclosed again.
I was going to say most of that was projection until you got very specific there at the end. You're not wrong about that. But, you know, all communication is projection. So congratulations, Jack. I know you don't have shit going for yourself and you don't have shit in your life, and thus you projected a little bit onto me, but you weren't totally wrong.
So that's cool.
You want me to promote that Charlie that endorsed me and all that? I have that video of him endorsed me.
Yes, I would absolutely run that. And you know, you really got to have your logins to your media buying accounts on Google and on X, and even have one in Reddit. You could target the suburbs section. You could target the Chicago section on Reddit. Promote yourself. Promote yourself.
But isn't that pandering to sort of?
No, everyone is Charlie Kirk. Haven't you seen Spartacus? I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
There was that girl who died in, what was it, South Carolina, Ariana, the Ukrainian girl. When she died, Charlie said we should absolutely politicize her death to make sure this never happens again. So I think he would support you politicizing his death or using his support.
No, but I'd be politicizing his death for my election rather than.
Well, wouldn't he want you to win? I mean,
Well, he did. It's true. He endorsed me, so that's
Mark,
true.
Mark, you gotta
So
remember.
I already got. Wait, John. I went to the Arlington Heights thing, memorial for Charlie, and there were 3,000-4,000 people. It was really big. And anyway, they let me speak. I spoke to the crowd, and then I had my affidavit. My petitions on me. So I was getting signature people at the event, and I got not lots, but a few on social media saying Mark is a scumbag. He was disrespectful. He was, denigrating Charlie Cook's memory. Blah blah blah. I don't know. How dare I use that as an opportunity to.
Well, Mark, this is where you gotta reply. You know, you can't let an attack go unreplied. And if you want to end the conversation with them, pray for their peace and their stillness and their joy, and that, don't take it personally, and God bless you. Feel free to text, communicate and take people's anger, which is road rage at a 10, and bring it down to a 1.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm finding because my race is more, it's in play, let's say, and people are paying attention. I get criticized no matter what I do.
Well, there's a saying, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're criticized if you speak, you're criticized if you remain silent, you're criticized if you have, you're always, it's art. And everyone's a critic. And part of the art of politics is being able to transform the critic's opinions in your reply. You've got to reply with positivity.
Yep.
But, let's do a fundraiser for you here on this app. You have a Jewish community here that supports you. And you have people on this app like Jack down here who want to attack you. So you got the perfect pot stick here to stir that pot for your campaign. I will host. I will help. But you have to show up. You could do it every morning at 8 a.m. for you. You can do it. This is a great place. Look how many followers you have, Mark.
Yeah, but it's not a good use of my time. And not one of those people live in my district.
Well, the point that Mark, it's your programming. Mark, it's your morning programming for yourself. It's your public speaking practice opportunity at 8 a.m. for you.
No, I'm practiced out, man. I go to 4 or 5 events every day. I'm speaking on the phone, on Zoom, in person. I need a bunch of wahoos on Clubhouse to practice in front.
Well, what I'm saying is if you want to come here for the dopamine or for the connections, I mean, you're still going to flick this app open at certain times. I'm just saying that I raised $600 and even raising $1 off of this app, if you haven't done it, let's try it once. Give it an experiment, an opportunity.
I have tried. I have a list of people that donate the max, which in our case is 7,000, and I get it from them. I'm better off, economically. My return on investment for my time would be going to bigger donors than people on Clubhouse.
Well, I think it's a butterfly effect.
I'm not cynical, I've done this already. This is my second go round. So I know. And back then Clubhouse was even a bigger deal, I think.
Well, see, I would vote for you because I think you're so level-headed, and intelligent, and so you already know the solution to most of our problems. And you remind me a lot of my father because there's really no more debate left. It's people have their positions and let it be, but it's the people who are agitators and who I think are completely misinformed. That we live amongst probably 60 million people in this country who are hardcore brainwashed, and they're potentially violent, and they are big agitators and friction creators. So that's, I think, probably the biggest challenge, to keeping this country coherent or sane or safe, secure, just like other countries who demand and, respecting and demanding security. To me, it's like, what's the whole point of this if you're just going to get randomly murdered at some concert? It's a war, really. And I just salute you and, Max, I know you guys have been.
Well, you know what I was thinking about? That would be fun. You want to do a Charlie Kirk style campus question answer thing?
I do it every day here. See, the thing is, I have 30,000 videos on YouTube. I'm already putting out so much content and already doing that here on this app every day.
Yeah, but they can't shoot you though on the app.
Oh, that's the way I like it, Mark. You didn't know I got a pretty nose? I got a couple walls and some steel cast iron heating protecting me from the street shots. So, I'm in a good spot. Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time with that. I need people in the streets, at malls, at trains, everywhere where people are gathered on the calendars for Rockford and Peoria. I've got the calendar of events, the biggest, events, the farmers markets, it's everything. I got it all mapped out, but I already know what I have to do. And what I have to do is get off the phone with you and start posting and organizing.
True.
It would, do you think we need a balanced budget act in this country?
Yeah.
Would you defund the big beautiful bill?
I wouldn't have voted for it myself.
I mean, is it fair that we pay the taxes for Apple, for Google, for Microsoft, and just give us that as taxes in the future in debt now? I mean, what are they thinking giving all these tax credits? 500 billion a year.
Kick the can down the road so they don't have to worry about it.
Well, that keeps their net income artificially high, and that keeps growing. I understand it's all
Right,
connected.
That's all they care about is they don't care about the future. They're not going to be here.
Well, so then you know what?
Steve, what if you go to Washington, like I did, when you, like as a candidate, they'll talk to you differently than they were, you're sort of like an insider, and all they care about is who's getting the money and what they want them to do.
I get it. I mean,
That's all they care about.
the whole thing is though.
It's so corrupt. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's insane. And anyways, I mean, it's a war though. Like that's life's journey. If you can get there, look at Thomas Massey. You may not be a supporter because you know you.
No, I'm the people.
I-
I don't like her on Israel, but you can't tell Master may be the only two reps that I have any respect for.
I agree. Yeah. So.
They're not the woman that they're going.
Yeah, I agree. And they see the thing is they're going to keep winning because they're authentic, transparent, and they know their community, and their community respects him, and he respects them. He gives them his best effort, and the truth is, I mean, this is the situation we're in. I'm just saying that, you know, communication is in many ways the only justice you're going to get because of the status quo. So, I think just running and having the opportunity to maybe educate people at least in Illinois 16, because I'm speaking with, people who are circulating petitions who have absolutely no interest or knowledge of politics, the situation, or anything. Like
No, that's 95% of people, I'm telling you. That's like far the majority of the people.
well, I mean, basic economics or basics of how to turn a profit and how to run a business. Everybody inherently knows the truth about life. So I think, just for me, I mean, I think trying to do education for people is a useful component. I mean, because it is just content, and you're doing it right now, but we have no audience. And there are people on this app who can strategically help create audiences. But you hear people's allegiances. Many people are anti-Zionist and they don't know it, but they're really being anti-Jew, even if they don't want to show it.
Oh, they're self-hating too. They don't know that.
Most people are hypocrites and they have no priorities. They only talk about one topic as opposed to 50 corollaries or 50 adjacent variables. And so, most people are just polarized on one thing, and that's the J word, or the I word, or the Z word. And that spells. So, anyways, it's a joke. But this app is a depository of hyper polarized, hyper brainwashed, a completely, moth to candle psychopaths. It's an insane world we live in, but look at Charlie Kirk. Look at the guy that killed him. I mean, you're talking about brainwashed people, and I gotta tell you, they're everywhere. And I trust less more now than ever before. And but I will just judge people by their words and their character or their lack thereof.
Yeah, me too. Me too, but some people are, most people are in the middle, I think. They're brainwashed, but they're redeemable. They don't hate Jews or hate Zionists. They just don't know any better, and they watch CNN or whatever, and they think Jews are bad, or they listen to Clubhouse. You know what I mean? They're not inherently evil people. There are a lot of
Well, people that project homicidal ideation or promote terrorism, I do not trust them, and you can hear them on this app. And the thing
Yeah,
is,
but they don't know. I have a daughter like that. They don't. She thinks Hamas is some freedom fighting group helping these poor oppressed people in Gaza. You know, but she's stupid. She went to a leftist college. She's hypnotized that that's the way it is. She'll probably come around.
well, see, the thing is about that George Orwell quote about amateur spies and how the youngest women were the biggest bigots of the party that swallow the slogans. Never underestimate the fierceness of a lioness in the right situation. But what I'm saying is, your daughter's not an IDF soldier with that perspective and that training and that experience to mold her tunnel reality. So, how do you get somebody back into a different reality? It can't be done, Mark. People are conditioned. You can't decondition.
I take my daughter. I take my daughter to Israel, and she sees it with her own eyes.
Well, that's one way.
One,
Yeah.
one at a time.
That's an expensive way.
That's an expensive thing. Right. You know what? I talked to Gael yesterday. I haven't been on Clubhouse in 6 months, really. Remember, I hopped on for a couple minutes here and there. But you know her, right, Gael? That girl?
Yeah.
Do you know her?
Yeah, I know her very well.
You don't? John?
Yes, I know her very well.
I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so she used to be an Arab lover, Palestinian proponent at one point, and now she's totally on our side.
She has a very big X account. Have you ever seen her X account?
Yeah, I did see that before, actually.
It's pretty intense. I was very surprised.
She retweeted a couple of my posts one time. I mean, it's been a year before.
Yeah, she's leading the fight against the mind virus.
I guess the what?
The mind virus.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just saying she's got a big little counterterrorism promoter X profile that she puts out great content and finds stuff very, unique stuff that I would never be able to see or find on my own. She's got a lot of intelligence on there.
anyway, John, I gotta go do some things here.
Okay, take care. Have a great afternoon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, take care. Bye.
A bunch of slick digging assholes. I mean.
Like, get the fuck off my plate. How many times I say justice in there?
I'll definitely say what you think about the story and see how it develops. And I hope it's not connected to anything political. I really hope it's not.
Yeah, you got.
But it's sad in either case, whatever the motivation, it's not right. It's not fair. For someone to be, of any background, to be a victim of homicide.
Agreed. Oh, absolutely. And the fact that Mel, of all people, the fact that Mel didn't really talk about it, the fact, and I'm not going to assume anything, but I would imagine if her daughter goes to that school, I would imagine that she is really processing this a little differently than a lot of us. Mel's always, she's Mel, and the fact that she didn't speak on it, I think that tells us something. I could be wrong. I ain't speaking on her behalf. But I think it's probably hitting home in a sense. So we need to be aware of that. She may be, this may be, something triggering for her. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, a lot of us have kids, so yeah, be very, very careful. Like, we don't want to trigger anything. We don't know what happened in people's life. So
what does your name mean? Racism is expensive.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
Racism is expensive. But when you make decisions based on race, it costs a lot to people, right? Like they like for instance, right? When you make policy that hurts people, right? Like redlining, right? It costs people. It makes everything expensive for everybody, right? Like redlining, it hurts the black community, and it costs generations of wealth
The J word, the I word,
for
the Z word.
everybody, right? Those folks now they have to.
Jeremy,
What's that?
I think she's trolling you.
I'm not trolling. I was trying to understand what that was.
Yeah, why do you think it was
Well,
trolling?
you know why redlining is expensive. Obviously, redlining means that you couldn't buy property in particular areas, right? So you can only rent, right? You're talking about less. You can't collect property taxes, and if people can't buy homes, I mean that's one example. But going back to whether it's about race or whatever, I think this week and the past few weeks, it's a fair question to ask, especially because after the Charlie Kirk assassination, HBCUs were targeted. There was a black man that was lynched. So I think it's a fair question because people are genuinely concerned for the safety of their kids and for the safety of their community.
Well, there was no evidence that that young man was lynched. They're ruling it a suicide, and I know they're waiting on an independent autopsy to be done, but there is no evidence to show he was
Let
lynched.
me share another example that's really.
Wait, before you go to that, let me address what she just said. It's sort of clear. You're talking about a community in Mississippi that has one person that's the coroner who erroneously said that there was no scars, no lacerations, and no breaks, and they're saying that from the picture, it looks like his leg is broken, and that he has a laceration in the picture, is what they're stating. So it's already flawed in an area that's had federally previously issues with the police in the state of Mississippi. So making that assumption is very flawed. It's highly likely that he was lynched. And they've stopped recording lynches for some reason, as if they haven't happened, because the last recorded one I think was like in the 1980s. Even though we know that more have happened, they falsely reported them as other things.
Yeah, let me give another example
Okay,
that's closer.
okay. I'll
Let me give
move on.
another example that's closer to our timeline, all right? Let's talk about immigration policy, right? They're allowing ICE agents to arrest people based on certain score criteria on what they look like, right? And now there's whole states that are going bankrupt. Whole farms. The farmers are pissed off
They fucked.
because pissed off because all my fucking freaking hey, like there's nobody working. They have to plow all of their fields because there's nobody there to pick the food because it's all rotting. They're losing money and now they're asking for fucking subsidies to bail their asses out. Where does that money go? Where does that money come from? It comes from the fucking taxpayers.
I want to share a different perspective because this is the thing. I get it. Racism is expensive, so I get what you're saying or what you mean by that. Power is also expensive, and I think a lot of times people who are parts of minority groups, such as myself, I'm a woman and I'm black. We operate from a scarcity mindset, so everything's about money, 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 money. And for people who have been in power for generations, it's not about money; it's about maintaining that power. Because as long as they have that power, they can produce money for them and theirs. This is more of I look at it when we look at race and stuff like that, it's more like a tribe or a team. You got team white, you got team black, you got team brown, whatever, whatever. Team white wants to make sure that they ensure the power stays amongst team white. That's their goal. Okay? And letting too many people in the mix, sharing too many resources with others, even though those resources might be, beneficial to and spill back have effects, positive effects on the economic growth of Team White, it could also displace Team White's power in terms of power dynamic. So sometimes what I've learned is that other groups who are not as scarcity minded, they will sacrifice what we look at as financial gain to maintain their power that they have worked so hard and tirelessly and hell recklessly, you can call it all types of things, unscrupulously to gain.
Someone in the chat that money is power. I don't agree. I think money is purchasing power, right? Like you can buy some shit, but obviously, with the money that black folks consume and those numbers, we ain't gonna, let's please not start quoting off the numbers. We know what the numbers are, what our buying power is. It don't equate to no political power. It don't equate to no.
Not unless you convert it. You can convert money to power.
Hold on.
And that's one thing we have not done.
Wait. You messed up my bill, sister. So the fact of the matter is that we spend a lot of money on a lot of things. It has not manifested in real political power, real knowledge, real understanding on how to get things done. That's where the power is in people who have knowledge of self, the people who have the ability to put together projects and move things. And like those are the people that are in power. Most of the people in this America, a lot of people in America, y'all know we have a large segment of Americans that are just not bright, right? And so people who are not bright, people who ain't in touch with their cognitive, etc., are the most vulnerable and easiest group of people to manipulate. This is a fact. Like when you don't know shit, people can just tell you shit, and you just gonna go on, that's what's going on in America. So yeah.
I don't think it's the lack of intelligence. I think it's the lack of the knowledge of how power works. Because black people are amongst the most intelligent and innovative people in the world, specifically black Americans. Okay, but at the end of the day, also some of the greatest in terms of being disenfranchised. The thing is, there's a lack of understanding of how power works. You know, and that money, even though black Americans are considered to have, the greatest spending power, buying power, whatever you want to call it, out of all other black groups around the world, black Americans we have not been able to convert that power successfully. What we do is we go for the quick wins. Oh, let me go get that new BMW. Oh, let me go get those Jordans or those Louboutins. Oh, let me get that fancy house. Oh, let me go get another degree at a fancy institution. Because we will settle for that individual, that quick little bit of power that we think we get. People are going to look at me and they're going to know that I'm somebody. But we don't, as a collective, organize. We don't have the lobbyist groups on our side. Like we don't have our own groups to go out and really lobby for causes that are near and dear to us. We don't gatekeep. We don't practice nepotism. We're not even in positions to help other people, other minorities, and so it leaves us to be the most disrespected. I can't be mad at
those groups. You might not be a part of those groups, but a lot of us are. So it's like when you're saying these things, it sounds weird because it's like a lot of us are in these spaces, and we are, collectively organizing and pushing the things that we want to at a local level, at a state level.
Are you Black American?
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm only speaking for Black Americans. That's all I'm speaking for. I don't know about everybody else.
But a lot of people in the
Kim, you better cut it out.
Black American.
With your white ass.
Yeah, so
my daddy's black.
Let me say this to you.
My daddy's black. So he can be black. That's what they say.
You better stop, Kim.
So, sister, let me tell you something. Sin is impacting lives, right? Well, like sin is an impact on all types of lives here in New York, right? So am I. So the work that we do, we're doing what we got to do. That's number one. And you and I agree on certain things. Yet when you came in, you just chose us. So I said, push it and go. It's not that like, why wouldn't you add on to it? Like we're not against each other, and we shouldn't be having a communication where we trying to prove one person's point is more valid than the other. Like you started that way, and you're being disrespectful to people who are actually doing the work. So please don't say I agree with you about the overall buying attitudes and how we approach consumerism and all that, right? But people are out here doing the work. So please don't say we're not. Say that you are not, right? Tell us what you tell us what you are doing. Me and Sin don't have to go back and forth because she looks out for me and I would look out for her, right? In that regard of what our impact is. She's having an impact. And I won't let that statement that you made just go without responding to it. People are out here doing work.
Hey, I'm not denying that. I'm only speaking from my perspective on Black Americans. I think that Black Americans have a lot to learn from other minority groups because they come in and in less time have done more. Now it's funny the people that are in the chat that are sitting here coming for me. Well, let me just say this.
So you're telling me it's straight to
It's the people in the chat coming for me talking about I'm a broke N word and all this stuff. These are people, this very same people who only their whole identity is wrapped up in their fraternity and sorority. Miss Renita, Kappa Alpha Psi, and Mr. Fishbelly, Masonic. Okay, y'all are part of the problem. That's what I mean by the little quick, cheap power grab. Instead of helping out your community overall, you're like, well, I'm good. I got my little clique, and we all look out for each other. We all got jobs. We all paid. That's what I'm saying.
Do you live
And
with
you got something to say? You come up on the stage.
Do you live with Asians? Do you live with Spanish people? Do you live with Polish people? Do you live with other, like, have you spent years of your life living in those communities? I'm curious.
My mother's Puerto Rican, so I see the difference in the way that Latin Americans.
Listen,
You don't.
something is weird.
She went from black to white to mixed to Puerto Rican. Oh my God.
Wait, Mel, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mel.
Kimberly, you gotta stop, Kimberly.
Yeah, wait, are you black? One second, Robert. Are you black or Puerto Rican?
My mom is Puerto Rican.
Then why did you switch?
I speak Spanish.
What is
What's
she?
your fault?
She
What is your
keeps
fault?
telling, no, what is she? Why is she?
She claims, right now she just claimed her daddy black, her mother's Puerto Rican. Other times she claims she white, okay? And she has her name Kim on her first account. Matches black people.
Whoa.
Now she don't know what she is. She confused us.
Sure, everybody call me white, and I told them even in real life, people look at me as Puerto Rican, they don't see me as white until I correct them. I say I'm black.
Texture of your voice.
Wait.
Sounds like that of a Caucasian person.
Wait.
You sound Caucasian.
See, the point you be missing it. Can you give me that math again, please, Mel?
My mother is Puerto Rican. She's a white Puerto Rican. My dad he's black, but he's a light-skinned black dude. I look like I'm Puerto Rican. Nobody's ever guessed it. No one has ever confused me for a white person. Other than on the app based on my voice. In person, people think I'm biracial or they think I'm Hispanic, point blank. And I identify as black.
Great.
And it's Santos, your last name?
Wow.
That's my mother's main name.
Chad and Mel are too quiet right now. This is not
You
used to
hear me thinking, the friend?
Yeah, because she just her daddy black, so she knew to come off the mic and say, yes, that's my mom's maiden name, because I was about to check her ass. Really, so your father didn't recognize you because you are the...
No, you recognize me.
There's
No.
a first time for everything. I've never met a
And my mom has always told me I was black.
Puerto Rican.
My mom has always told me I was black, and she's the only one in her family that got with a black guy.
My mom tells me I'm black.
Kim, you remember you told me that you got a nose job so that it could align with your wig?
I did get a nose job. Because my nose was, that was one of the things I was very insecure about. I wanted to look like my Puerto Rican cousins who had the cute, like, pink snap.
She told me season 1 that she got a nose job so it could align with her wig. That's what she told me.
I know you
Are you
lying.
talking me down the
Yes. No. What are we
No, I
doing?
wasn't really ashamed of my black features. I was very ashamed of my black features. My mom always told me I was beautiful, but I wanted to look like her. My mom always told me I was beautiful, but I wanted to look like her.
She said it to me.
Wait.
Yeah, I did get a nose job.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you talking bad about Jordan for getting nose job?
Because I did not like my black features. I didn't think that would look good. I thought it made me look masculine.
But why not have the same
Slow
feelings
down.
I did?
Slow down. Y'all not slowing down.
Black?
She said she didn't like her black features.
Wow. That's wow. Well, I'm a man.
I've done a lot of
I'm myself
self-work
in the
since
conversation.
So today, do you embrace the black, the part of you that is black? Do you embrace that?
Yes, I do. But I have some features as futurism.
Chat. She said ChatGPT is her therapist, so she's working on herself.
Oh my. Okay, so you embrace the black part of you now, but you think that black people have something to learn from other races.
Yes. My father's side of the family is so disjointed, it's not even funny. I'm not saying my mom's side is perfect, but I have learned about community from her side of the family. And it's really sad. I see the impacts of, I guess, systemic racism and everything in America. One of the goals is to keep us divided. And I think a lot of us are victims of that. Now, there's some people who find their groups. So, again, I'm not mad at y'all that's part of the AKAs and the fraternities and all that stuff, but you have to realize that you're not, like, you're the exception, not the rule.
You only speak in stereotype and phenotype. That's the only language that you understand. And it's weird that you can throw a blanket statement like that when you that isn't even your experience. When you actually have the honor to be in community with black folks. That is an honor. Let me tell you about black people. The most peaceful people I know are black folks. You know why? Because we ain't burned this son of a bitch up a long time ago. Because we could have. Systemically, we are consistently starting behind the starting line, and yet and still, we still manage to succeed. We don't have the barriers of entry that other races have, and yet we still succeed. We don't have a whole system on our backs that works against us, including the medical field that knows job. I bet if they saw you as black and you had some pain, they would question you. Regardless if you acknowledge the black that is within you, society sees that and they would treat you as such. So the fact that you look at black people the way that you do shows us, including with the nose job that you got, that you have a problem with yourself. And so the work that needs to be done, and I say this in love, is to do some researching on the black part of your family, because there should be some pride there. Because black people are some of the most loving, empathetic people I've ever met in my life. Because we haven't conquered nations. We haven't put blankets on full of smallpox on an entire race of people to kill them off. We also haven't killed their only means of food sources. We also haven't taken over countries. We also didn't put people on ships in the millions and sent them over to a country that they didn't know to tell them that they were less than. We also have never created a law that told people that you're only 1/5 of a person, 3/5 of a person. All of the things that have been done to us, and yet and still we are here, there should be a level of pride that you have, because that resilience in black folks is in you. So I suggest that you look more into the black parts of you, get an understanding, and have some pride, because you're actually missing out on an amazing part of who you are by talking the way that you do. And I'm done.
I completely agree with you. That was many years ago that I got the nose job. I went to Columbia and I got it done. And yeah, I did. I was a fan of wigs. And it just, again, my whole look did not come together right. That's one thing that most people who are mixed race know, that some of us don't come out, like the features don't always go together. I always was jealous of my Puerto Rican cousins, the ones that were full Puerto Rican. I was always jealous of their cute features. And I realized that a lot of that was rooted in internalized racism and self-hatred, anti-blackness. But at the end of the day, I've worked through it, and I'm working through it.
That's all I ask, is that you work through it, because it's beautiful over here. It is beautiful over here. I'm telling you. Like, think about it. Think about all the things around the world that have been done to black folks, and yet we're still here. Think about that.
I love my broad nose. I love.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
now
have
my shit could have. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, my shit could have went loose. I'm glad it stopped. Like, where it stopped at? Let's be clear. I'm glad it has a nice shape. Well, whew, that was a close call. But I am proud of my broad nose. I feel like the king of Sumanda. Like, I love my African black large nose. I love it. I'm sorry. I was just venting. But go ahead.
I want to share something else that might help too a little bit. And sister, and I hope this helps for you as well too. A lot of times, and I'm not saying that college is the way of learning something, but sometimes as black people, we need to learn how our people have experienced things maybe in different parts of the country or in different families. Our families are usually the first level of how we learn about our blackness and our culture. But when we get to those from different parts of the diaspora. And as you talk to them, you get a little bit of a better sense of, what not only what we've gone through culturally, or even knowing where to go. For me, growing up in Gary, I always understood white flight, at least from Gary's perspective. But then when I met people from Detroit, I understood the politics around that, which tells me a little bit about the people around that. And different places where I would go, I would learn bit by bit by bit. Sometimes that helps you out in discovering who you are, because then you start figuring out, the comment of, well, this is what I think Black people can do. You start figuring out what has been done, and also maybe appreciate what people are trying to do as well too. And sometimes it can also be a help to you in certain situations. I have a buddy of mine, and we still laugh about this day. This happened about 30 years ago, so keep it in mind. He had a recruiter that was trying very hard to get him to move to Martinsville, Indiana. And I remember I was at Ford, he called me and he said, Pierre, this recruiter is telling me about some suburb in Indianapolis called Martinsville. I hadn't heard of it. The significance of this is that Martinsville is a very well-known racist part of, it's in southern Indiana, and outside of being Bloomington normal, at least it's a little bit better now, but southern Indiana is racist as hell. Used to be the Klan capital literally in 1930s, 1940s, and he said a generation that lived about it. Make a long story short, the recruiter was trying to convince him to live in Martinsville, which is about an hour out from Indianapolis. This is like telling somebody that Toledo is a suburb of Detroit, or that Milwaukee is a suburb of Chicago. But they were trying to do it because they wanted to bring a Black person on without thinking about where they would live, or thinking that they would be stuck in Martinsville and be okay with that. If my friend had not called me, if I had not expressed that to him, this is what's going, this is what happens in Indiana, don't take the job, he probably would have taken, I'm not going to say he would have taken that job, but it would have been likely that he would have. So I say all this to say, learn from other people about what their perspective is about being Black. And I mean from everybody, whether they are in a frat sorority, or they're in a church, or something broader in a diaspora. And each little bit will inform you a lot more, and it really will inform you a lot more about what we are as people, and what things are about as well too. So I hope that helps.
Do we have silence now? We got silence.
I feel like every time I talk, I mean.
No.
It's cool. I feel bad.
You know what it is. The reason why I didn't get involved in that last exchange, because I don't think I think men should be aware of, like, when you go through a back and forth with women, and I just never want to be that guy, because it just you can have a small debate, but I think when you get into looks and noses and all of that kind of thing, I don't think that's the proper space for a man to be in. Engaging with a woman like that. That's just the shit. That's just how I stand on that. Like, so I know I have women in here that are, we reflect the same mindset, and so I will always allow women to deal with women. And I guess this message is for the guys in the room, not the women. But we gotta stop that gossip shit and all of that, and we gotta chill. We gotta chill sometime. And so that's me. I'm not gossiping. One thing I'm not is gossipy.
You be gossipy and over talking. What are we talking about?
What do I? Oh, Brian, hold on, Brian. Maybe I could be long-winded.
I don't want to be saying nothing, but I have to address it.
No, but Brian. Yeah, I could be a little wordy. I'm working on it. I could be a little long-winded. I accept that. That is my thing, and I'm learning to be less words. I'm learning. But one thing I'm not is a fucking gossiper. Like, ain't anybody will tell you that I don't do that gossip shit.
Did you say, Robert? You didn't feel I was trying to gossip, Dorian?
No, Pierre, not at all. Nah, bro, that wasn't directed at you. Yeah, no. I was just taking a moment just to acknowledge a moment. That's all. That's all. And Brian, yeah, baby, I don't gossip, bro. Like,
Robert,
we debate about
said something. There were two men talking, me and PM. What are we doing? I mean, like,
No,
look at
man.
Look at who was talking. You didn't
Like
say
talking and gossiping are two different.
Robert, let me finish. You didn't say like at time, this that you specifically mentioned this conversation. Two men were talking. I talked a little bit. Pierre talked some. That was it, to my understanding. So what are we talking about?
No. I wasn't addressing that to anybody. I wasn't addressing that to you or him. It was just a thought that was being expressed out loud. That's all it is. If I'm gonna direct something at anybody, believe me, I'm gonna put your name on it. But no, that was no shot at you guys. That was no sub, none of that. But thank you, Brian. Yeah, you probably thought I was. Yeah, no, not that Pierre, Brian. No.
I hear you,
My
Rob.
bad.
No, but that's is also a fair point. But it's all but the good thing about social audio is that you hear people's voices and you can tell when somebody's talking to. That's a good thing too as well. So.
Do y'all think that what's been happening, with the left, do y'all think, like the silencing and all of that, do y'all think that Democrats will be petty and do the same thing when they are in leadership?
I hope so. Me too. I hope we grow some balls and be like, all right, it's fine out season,
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Ouch.
Oh, I said with all the attacks and everything that the left has been doing, the right has been doing, do you think Democrats will step into that petty bag and do the same thing to them? Or you think they're gonna do this whole we're better than that and we're here for the people in the country and we're not like them? Do you think that they will be petty?
I think they're gonna be smarter. I think I say my tag phrase is don't be baited, be better. And when I say be better, I don't mean don't fight, I'm not saying be on some punk shit. I'm not saying that. But obviously they are grossly ineffective at combating the onslaught of what the MAGA has put on them. Like they just
Character matters.
We don't know how it was possible. But I think that they're mounting an effort. I'm gonna give them, I'm thinking people are gonna move smarter going forward. Let's hope so.
I think with Gavin Newsom speaking out, I think we will be a little bit more aggressive. It's going to take another person or two to kind of really make it to a movement. Yeah, with Gavin, I think I understand that a little bit. Look, I agree. The Democratic Party, I think, is always going to want to uphold the right ideals because, quite frankly, that is to a certain level, it's brought some people to the tent to some degree, but at the same time, if Gavin has proven with the whole thing with the redistricting, it's to the point now where they're going to be forced to kind of hit back. It's kind of we've passed that Rocky lost to Cover Lang episode of the for the Democrats, and now we're in the we got to get ready for the fight at some level. Because otherwise we don't win the title back if we don't start swinging. I was gonna say they're counting on us not doing it, right? What California is doing is not a surprise. It's literally what Texas did, and they know that we could do it. I think some of them are like, oh shoot, they're actually going to do something to fight back, and then the nerve of them to say they're going to take California to court is hysterical, right? They do the exact same thing that Texas is doing.
I just want to say, somebody put in the chat that we don't want another Biden. Be clear, Mr. Biden at the time was the best candidate. He was a placeholder. Like he was the only person at that time that could possibly win against Mr. Trump. He was a placeholder, and for some reason, Democrats went to sleep after that. How could you not know that this was coming? How could you not plan accordingly? And it's a lesson that I'm sure they've learned because I knew when he got elected that he was a placeholder, and we took a sigh of relief because we were outside of that toxicity of the presidency, but they fell asleep at the wheel. How the fuck did you not know that he was a placeholder? So we don't have anybody else in the party that we knew. Nobody had a voice. Nobody established themselves. They just literally went to sleep. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump and the MAGA movement have been hard at work. Shit, but they've been working, and the Democrats were sleeping and being nice and being cordial and taking on causes that they shouldn't have been taking off instead of digging down, planning, strategizing. They fell asleep at the fucking wheel. So to the person that wrote, "We don't want another Biden," yeah, that moment right there. I agree with you. We don't want another Biden.
Well,
There's no disrespect to
I,
him.
I, I don't,
Yeah.
I would love another Biden because while he was asleep, he certainly got a lot of shit done. So this has been the most progressive president we've had in history, maybe besides FDR. So I'd rather have Joe Biden asleep any fucking day of the year than this foolishness. So I don't know what y'all talking about him being asleep. That man was served as a longtime senator. He had a lot of experience. He was a fucking vice president. And yeah, he pulled out. He's an older guy and everything like that, but will be known in history as one of the most progressive presidents. So I don't know. Yeah, if y'all don't like the Democrats or if y'all don't like Biden personally, that's fine. That's okay. But he got a lot of shit done. Okay, during tough times when we were struggling with COVID.
Yeah, I would also add, I think the other thing to keep in mind is there's two things here with Trump a little bit. First of all, there was money thrown towards him throughout these 4 years. He just, he kept trying to, basically, he was campaigning when he was in that first term. It's an argument for, I agree with you, Robert, there's work behind it. But at the same time, there's money that was being thrown by Elon Musk, by other folks. And this is a president, and Trump is also unconstitutional. So he's not playing by any rules whatsoever. So it's one of those things where I don't want to see I want to see a Democratic Party organized, but I also don't want to go too far and beat itself up over somebody who, and I think I can never pronounce his last name, but Pete said it best. This is a president, Trump is the president, whether Republican or Democratic, we've never seen someone so unconstitutional, so much into grift, that and so much with enablers that he's brought in. Plus also, to the black folks or about, the black males who voted for Trump, he's enabled a set of people that really are, they're trying to be opportunists at some level. And I think that that's a lot. So I would say for the Democratic Party, definitely get organized. But make sure that you beat yourself. If you're going to beat yourself up over something, make sure it's for the right thing and the right reasons, not just because this is very, very unusual. But it still has to be fought against. And I think for Democrats, we can make that fight. I just think it's a matter of, again, thinking next level about who is going to be the party leaders and who can lead us into this, or at least out of this crap, basically. There's an opportunity here, but yeah, they will hit back. Like I said, they will have to hit back because that's right now. That's all that you got to do. I'll land there.
Now, one of the ways that I think we still underestimate is, Gavin Newsom wanted to balance what Texas did, right? Instead of going full on and getting as many districts as possible, because they should have known that other states can redistrict also, right? That's gonna happen. And so instead of just balancing Texas, they should have been like, all right, it's California, right? We can pull the most districts out of it as much as possible. They shouldn't have been shocked that the other states are gonna, start doing the same thing.
I don't know if they've been shocked. I think it's just come to a head. I think definitely with Texas has got that spotlight because of the with the Democrats walking out. I think it's brought a spotlight to the whole thing. This has been going on for a while. This whole thing about redistricting. But I think with the the state Democrats leading the state, it seems a little futile for some folks. But I think part of that was the point of it was to bring attention to that, what's going on. I think it's at least woke up a lot of people, a how much redistricting is on the ballot right now.
The reason also, in respect for which we are rational beings, is common. If this is so, common also is the reason which commands us what to do and what not to do. If this is so, there is a common law also. If this is so, we are fellow citizens. If this is so, we are members of some political community. If this is so, the world is in a manner a state. For of what other common political community will anyone say that the whole human race are members? From thence, from this common political community comes also our very intellectual faculty and reasoning faculty and our capacity for law. Or whence do they come? For as my earthly part is a portion given to me from certain earth, and that which is watery from another element, and that which is hot and fiery from some peculiar source, for nothing comes out of that which is nothing, as nothing also returns to non-existence. And so also the intellectual part comes from some source. Death is such as generation is, a mystery of nature, composition out of the same elements, and a decomposition into the same, and altogether not a thing of which any man should be ashamed. For it is not contrary to the nature of a reasonable animal, and not contrary to the reason of our constitution. It is natural that these things should be done by such persons. It is a matter of necessity. If a man will not have it so, he will not allow the fig tree to have juice. But by all means bear this in mind, that within a very short time both thou and he will be dead. And soon, not even your names will be left behind. Take away thy opinion, and then there is taken away the complaint. I have been harmed. Take away the complaint. I have been harmed. And the harm is taken away. That which does not make a man worse than he was, also does not make his life worse, nor does it harm him either from without or from within. The nature of that which is universally useful has been compelled to do this. Consider that everything which happens justly, and if thou observest carefully, thou wilt find it to be so. Do not say only with respect to the continuity, the series of things, but with respect to what is just, and as if it were done by one who assigns to each thing its value. Observe then as thou hast begun, and whatever thou doest, do it in conjunction with this, that being good, and in the sense of which a man is properly understood to be good, keep to this in every action. Do not have such an opinion of things as he has who does thee wrong, such as he wishes thee to have, but look at them as they are in truth. Man should always have these two rules in readiness. The one, to do only whatever the reason of the ruling and legislating faculty may suggest for the use of men.
And we saw a lot of angry people.
Stupid ass scenario occurred, or any stupid ass scenario you can like contrive. Thank you. Have a nice.
I want to say something. No. I had, hold on. Everybody done jumped off the mic. Anyway, I was trying to talk to you earlier, Ashley, because I was trying to tell you that arguing with concrete is like, he's going to use the Merriam-Webster definition of consent. He's not going to talk about legal definitions of consent or things about, that's not going to work, because he's just going to say consent, it just means that the person agreed. It doesn't matter if they agreed on the drown, as in Necro's example. All that matters is that they agree, right? So it doesn't, like, the point will not go further than that. So
So I think we can just like move past because they're just gonna agree that, well, you consented, even though I don't understand how that works. Because I just don't believe humans can. I don't think humans are property. So I just
Well,
don't.
it's a fun,
Yeah,
it's
why
a
we
fun brain exercise.
No.
to
I
try
agree
to,
with
to
you.
Try to, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I agree with
Like I
you.
enjoy arguing with concrete because you have to think of other ways to come at his arguments because that's why I do enjoy arguing
No,
with
I'm not
concrete
saying you can't
and
enjoy
debating
it. I
against
was just
concrete.
gonna say like he's not using the same working definition, right? When we're talking about consent and power dynamics, we're usually talking about like the Fry's model, since he wants to bring up Me Too around consent, but he's not using that definition around like there. And I don't. And to the power imbalance thing, it's not that all things have to be equal, right? It's just that we have agreed in society.
Get there, me.
I
can't even.
I just asked to
I
speak,
can't even
and then
get the opportunity to get there.
Wait, can I just quickly say something?
I'm so
I agree with you, Nick. He's not gonna understand. I agree with you, Nick.
Hold on.
Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry. Every time I try to leave you guys to have a conversation by yourselves, it doesn't work out. So, Neek was not. I understand. Someone had a question for Neek, but let Neek land, please. Let her land. After she's done, then guess what? The next person to go, but let her land.
Final point to the idea of like all things don't have to be equal, but I do think that we as a society have agreed to like, not maybe we collectively agreed, but there are rules in place as to when non-consent does occur. And that's usually like between prisoners and COs, between students and teachers, between children and adults, because we realize that there is a limit to how far we're allowing a difference to occur. And that's where the non-consent, like, because we've agreed that can't be consensual, period, even if there's an agreement.
Right. So I want to say I agree with you, Honey. Sorry for interrupting you, but she's absolutely right. With a guy like him, we can push the legal definitions and everything, and this guy just saying consent. That's when I asked him, okay, when he would bring up like trying to compare you to children and stuff, and I said to him, okay, do you think it's perfectly fine if a 12-year-old says she consents to having an adult with a 30-year-old man? Do you agree? And he refused to answer. Then Nero asked him a similar question. He refused to answer. And him refusing to answer, we already know his mindset then. In a perfect world, he probably wishes that it goes this way, consent is done, people can do whatever. Because he doesn't want to answer, he just wants to say his point. And it's actually like, I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. It's actually mind-boggling.
Yes, but I'm just saying, I don't need training wheels. Like, I want to make my own arguments, and then I'm not allowed to because everybody else tries to put training wheels on me.
No,
I'm making my own arguments.
I wasn't putting training wheels.
I would have tried, and he said, we can go back and forth, That's all I wanted was a back and forth to be able to fully flesh out my point, and I can't do that when I have people interrupting every 2 seconds.
She likes, like,
yeah. I mean, just in general, though, it's
sorry,
like
but she like white people. Like she don't take negative criticisms, even if they're like constructive.
Yeah.
I enjoy the argument. That's all I'm saying. I enjoy the argument. I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy the back and forth.
Like that is the thing with you guys.
Guys, so I just.
No. Let me just say real quick.
I hardly ever interject on the stage. Like I was quiet most of the day. I hadn't hardly said a doggone word, and then I finally said, hey, I have a minute. I do want to go back and forth with Congress on this. It is a fun back and forth. It is a good way to exercise the brain.
Disagreeing with you. You're being defensive.
That's it.
Guys.
Or are women have any other ethnicity?
Yeah. So, Concrete was like, he said essentially, by his own logic, he would have to, logically say that there's nothing wrong with, his daughter consenting to be my sex slave for the rest of her life. Because we both consented in the scenario, where basically she had agreed, even if she was desperate after, when she was drowning. And so, That's sort of concrete thinks is actually moral, and so if he thinks that that's moral, then that's fine. I don't see how he is, anyone can consider him a moral person.
Yeah, so, Neek, you thought necro.
That's a good question. So I just said to his example.
One second, ma'am. I had to listen to you. Besmirch my excellent point by employing a degenerate fucking brain dead white dude. That hurt my heart. Anyway, it's basically if I were to tell you that cars are not inherently immoral, and you're like, what if somebody took that car and rammed down a whole bunch of 12-year-olds? Would you say cars are immoral then because the car rammed down the 12-year-olds? That's what he did. It doesn't, stop, Dottie. It doesn't invalidate the argument that cars slavery simpliciter is not immoral. Is it I'll just clarify this here. Could it be used in an immoral way? And already granted this. Yes. Is it inherently immoral? No.
Who drives the car? Because you're talking about putting moral standards. You're talking about putting moral standards to like objects that aren't human. That's why that just doesn't make sense.
Immorality is wickedness. If you're doing wicked shit, wicked behavior, you're immorality. Wicked.
Slavery is
Yeah, because like who's driving the car?
Slavery is fucking wicked, homie. If I could group up a bunch of actually make them in the home, I think that's pretty fucking wicked.
So
I would actually.
So according to Concrete, essentially, he thinks that essentially that people have the right to be able to go, and if they have the right to own a car, then that's the equivalent of being allowed to go to kill somebody down the street with the car. To make Concrete, like, do you not realize you're arguing that people should have the right to, like, what my scenario, where your daughter could agree to be my sex slave? Like, you're arguing that should be a right, right?
Concrete, my argument would always be that a power imbalance and is always immoral. Like, you cannot consent in that way. So, I mean, it kind of just disproves your entire thing that it
What
can't
about
be moral.
employee aspect?
That's different than
There's a
agreeing
power
to be somebody's
disparity
slave
there.
for 7 years or however long.
You use the word
Yeah,
always.
but it's at will. It's at will, Samoa. At any time, I could walk off my job and say I quit, and there's nothing they can really do about it, right?
It depends.
They could fire me at any point.
I mean, it depends.
The problem is you won't be able to put food on the table if that happens, so you can't make that decision.
But you could still quit and go to a different job. Like if you trade your freedom, you do not have that option. So I can't just say, oh, I don't like you as my boss. So I know what a treat
Somebody
is.
says I can be your slave. Somebody says I can be your slave for 3 days for $1 million. Is that first step consenting? Yes or no?
So,
Not if there's a power imbalance.
I mean,
$1 million shows you the power imbalance. Yes or no?
Bro, a fucking nigga wasn't me. Why y'all trying to question dumbass little girls and shit on stage like I ain't on here, bro? A fucking slave ain't being a slave.
You don't want the
$1
smoke.
million,
You shut the hell up.
Nigga, suck my dick, nigga.
yeah, I mean, just in general, Samoa, I just would like to ask you this. We have a law that, if a policeman beats up a black man, but if he gets up after 3 days, is something that would be acceptable.
Black niggas get out for doing dumb shit all the time, though. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They be letting them niggas right out. I'm a part of.
Yeah, what was your question again, Necro?
Yeah, like if we had it where like simply policemen, beat up, if a policeman beats up a black man, trying to restrain him, but if he gets up after 3 days, he gets off a day or two. Is that moral?
I don't even know what that means.
That's
well, you're saying,
What does that mean, bro?
hold on a second. So you're defending the idea that a person engaging in a contract where they can lose their freedom and their employer can actually use force to be able to get them to incentivized to do work on.
Yeah, work with the hypothetical that I offered. A person is gonna give up their freedom for 3 days for $1 million.
So what if I
Work with that.
What if I refuse to do work for you when in the
Well, then you wouldn't take $1 million, right?
No, you'll have to
But
kill
the
it.
reason, the reason why you would, hold on.
That's not.
The reason, oh, come on. The reason why you would take the, listen, the reason why you would take the million, you are giving up your freedom. Does that mean they can do anything that they want with you? And you're going to agree to this?
Sam,
then what would you call it?
It's not slavery if I have to pay my property.
If you can do what?
If I have to pay my property, that's not slavery.
What an idiot. It's not your property
It's not.
yet.
Slavery.
Hold on. You're acquiring the property with $1 million for 3 days. Now it's your property. But the reason of the consent was because the incentive that's being offered for the $1 million. The slave is going to be enslaved categorically for $1 million. That's the disparity, right?
What are you talking about? Real slavery, no slave work for $1 million. Let's get back on real subject. Real topic. No slave work for $1 million is disrespectful to my American heritage, bro.
I just want to
Hold
clarify.
on, right beneath the shop.
I just want to
Hold
clarify.
on.
Well, I just want to
Right beneath the shop.
Hold on.
Those motherfuckers were properties. Now I know that they didn't live in properties. They were.
No, Tupac.
No, let Frank cook. Hold on.
Yeah. You were property. You were.
Come on, man. What is it? ESL? Segment? The ESL? What is this, bro? Alright, I responded to Ashley because Ashley says whenever there's a power disparity, it is always immoral. That's what she said, okay?
No, I was talking about
Right, because you really handled the hypothetical in the way that it was framed there, bro, right?
Essentially, what you're touting is to
Frank whipping your ass, bro. Frank whipping your ass.
You were property.
Oh, Frank, look at that French elbow. He just hit you with a French elbow, bro.
I'm just trying to respond. So basically, Samo, what you're talking about is where people are getting paid,
Oh
like
my God, James, let me borrow that code.
working for 3 days. They're not.
No, not working. No, not working.
They're okay. So they're for 3 days. They don't have their freedom, but they get $1 million. But that's slavery.
Yep.
$1 million. You're a slave.
Hold on, wait. Hold on.
You realize
So before you were a slave, you were not in bondage. Now you're a slave, you are in bondage. So for this 3 days, you were in bondage. Voluntarily a slave. You can voluntarily be a slave. Yes, that's absolutely right. You agree with that?
Yeah.
You know how hard the Africans would have worked for that $1 million? This is a horrible argument. This is a horrible.
Hey, take it easy. So you're going to argue that since
Take it easy.
athletes, that NBA players who make ridiculous salary, who sell themselves
No, why is Necro running away from the hypothetical? Stop running.
No, you didn't get it with hypothetical. You're saying
Necro, bring that out here.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Necro, hold on. Yes.
Hold on. What
Like
someone said, hello, it's not absurd. When someone just described indentured servitude, it's a contractual agreement. For 3 days, you get $1 million, and the person gets to treat you like a slave. Yeah, we've done that in history before. It's called indentured servitude, and that is not slavery. Slavery, there's a...
Wait, hold on. No.
Hold on a second.
This part is African.
Why'd you intervene, bro?
No, I did not intervene. I'm just describing what you
So what do you call this?
It's not slavery. It's called an
Yeah,
indentured
wait,
servitude. It's
hold
a
on.
contractual
Nigga, that's a job. $1 million to work for 3 days is a fucking job, bro.
Hey, Matt, come on.
$1 million to work for 3 days. We all did that. I'm cleaning cow shit. I'm stripping master shoe.
Just relax. What Ash?
Alright, so every time I try, you guys are not able to do it. I'm back. Hello, my name is Knowledge. I am going to attempt to allow Samoa and only Samoa to speak. Samoa, please attempt to speak without anybody interrupting you.
Thank you very much, kind sir. Thank you very much. Yes, the statement that was made was whenever there is the presence of a power disparity, it is always immoral, it being of slavery. I gave a hypothetical, right, where a person is going to be a slave for 72 hours. Start the clock, $1 million will be transferred at the end of the 72-hour period. Okay? So within the 72-hour period, this person is a slave. Now, please, is this person, address the hypothetical, please, address it, please.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can address it. I was going next, okay? So I can address it, okay? What you're referring to, right? So I want to ask you, like, are you a capitalist? Are you, like, I don't know. But anyways, right?
I don't want to be mean. Ashley.
So after I was saying, oh wait, I'm not done.
Let me not.
No, I'm not done. I'm just want to finish my point.
Answer the
No, I'm not interrupt you. Just let me say.
Answer the
Because,
question.
I want to answer.
Question. Don't ask any question. Just entertain.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
Question.
I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna elaborate, okay? The reason why it's so different, someone spoke up and said, yo, you're disrespecting my history. He's absolutely completely right. Because, like, what you guys are doing is comparing I would call it modern day capitalism, where people argue about employment rights, slavery, and it's just not the same thing. So, why is different? At least you're getting paid. And it's because you're getting paid, so it's more voluntary compared to modern day historical slavery, where you're being forced to do labor, and you're not getting paid.
You guys are not.
Don't forget about the Hold on. Cannon. She doesn't understand or can't answer. Nico, would you like to entertain Samoa's question? Would you like to entertain or answer Samoa's question?
Yeah, I mean, to me,
Go ahead.
like,
Keep it short, please, because
yeah,
I short
I
answer.
promise I will. It'll take less than 20 seconds. So yeah, I find it absolutely absurd the idea that people, simply have 72 hours where they, have to work for somebody and then they get legal hours. That's in any way slavery.
Cannon would say.
Okay, thank you. So they can consent, right, Nico?
Yeah. I think Ashley
Thank you.
to respond to the question.
I'd like to respond. So obviously Ashley is wrong. The idea that whenever there's a power dynamic, it's slavery, it's nonsense. You don't have the same power as your boss. So obviously,
Percival's privilege starting with JFC
Fuller. Into a contract where you agree to do something.
He was a World War II hero.
Remember, you agree.
Military.
Then
Remote phone call was factory ties. And slaves it stands in size.
The person doesn't agree to be a slave.
There is no hill. There is no pit. They have no mark to hit.
That is a very key component of the
definition
of slavery.
Moves is the sphere.
Now, the people who enter the contract, we have a very specific name for that. It is called indentured servitude.
They do not thrive.
You enter into a
They are at
contract
rest.
to do work
Alive.
because you owe a debt or
This
you
is the peace which passeth all understanding, conscious communion with the absolute, and paths which lie beyond the dialectical. When the consciousness is full of God and is carried outside itself by sublime alienation, which could bring me rise, lead me to those exalted skies, to live and love and understand, paying a price, accepting not the giver and the gift of one, with the receiver.
As an indentured
Oh, how
you have
son,
the agency to actually negotiate
a
and
thought,
initiate a contract.
of bliss
And that's when
transcending
the
thought,
agency comes. Now, terms of the
rise
contract
where the
might be
vision
similar to slavery, but
dies,
you had the agency
so
and freedom to negotiate.
glory of the going, oh, Self-added shadow.
You guys are actually addressing it. You guys are letting Matt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys are letting
Cody's
Matt
answer to this.
this whole hypothetical. The hypothetical doesn't have to be a 1-to-1 ratio. It can
Names,
be a person
things
has
not.
a wife. Like, you guys ever seen that movie? Like,
Since religion began the all-sufficient passport to the doubtfully desirable the hat, he has gone on with his keeping close to 9 to 1 tickling design. Pretty mild and nice. It's a great quails for fighting, but to give myself a passion, it is clear.
You are enslaved for 72 hours. Now, they're not buying you. They're taking the debt of somebody else that's born to you. What is the difference between a person lending another person $1 million to hand you over? You gotta add the third verbal. The third verbal is not a direct